The Imperial diplomatic vessel silently appeared in Earth's orbit. Its dark, shiny hull looked like a black mirror against the stars. This was the moment Earth had been waiting for. First contact with an alien civilization. Commander Kim stood tall on the orbital defense platform. His eyes never left the alien ship as it moved closer to Earth. The vessel was elegant and powerful, clearly built by a civilization far more advanced than humanity. "Sir, they're trying to communicate with us," said Lieutenant Park. Her hands moved quickly over the glowing control panel. Her face showed both excitement and fear, feelings shared by everyone on the platform. "Connect us," Commander Kim said. He adjusted his uniform and took a deep breath. This would be humanity's first conversation with aliens. History was being made, and he was at the center of it. The main screen lit up, showing a being unlike anything from Earth. Ambassador Ta had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on a face covered with small scales that shimmered in the light. Its mouth was wide and lipless, and its long fingers ended in points rather than nails. "Greetings, people of Earth," said the alien. Its musical clicking sounds were instantly translated into human language. "I am Ambassador Tai of the Galactic Empire. We have observed your world for some time." Kim felt a chill run down his spine. How long had they been watching? What did they know about Earth already? "On behalf of Earth, I welcome you," Kim replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "We are honored by your visit." The alien's eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Kim couldn't interpret. "We come with an offer," Ambassador Ta continued. "The galaxy is filled with dangers your people cannot imagine. Predatory species, cosmic events, resource wars. The Empire offers protection to developing worlds like yours." Kim noticed how the alien emphasized developing, as if speaking to children. Behind his diplomatic smile, Kim felt a touch of anger. Humanity might be new to interstellar travel, but they weren't helpless. "We would integrate your world into our network of protected planets," Tai continued. "Your people would benefit from our technologies, medicines, and knowledge. In return, we ask only for reasonable resource contributions and acceptance of Imperial guidance." Admiral Jun, standing silently behind Kim, gave a barely perceptible frown. Both men recognized the offer for what it was: colonization disguised as protection. Earth would become a vassal state, mining resources for the Empire while receiving just enough technology to keep them dependent. "Ambassador Tay," Kim said carefully, "your generous offer requires careful consideration. Earth's United Council will need time to discuss these terms." The alien's head tilted slightly. "Of course. The Empire understands the need for your governmental processes. We will remain in orbit and await your response. May wisdom guide your decision." The screen went dark. The room remained silent for several long moments. "They're testing us," Admiral Jun finally said. His voice was low but intense, seeing if we'll simply roll over. Kim nodded. "Their scans are probably already mapping our defenses, resource centers, population distributions. If they wanted to conquer us by force, they would have brought more than one ship," Lieutenant Park observed. "Unless this one ship is powerful enough to defeat our entire planet," Kim countered. "We can't make assumptions about their capabilities." Admiral Jun moved to a secure communication terminal. "The United Council needs to hear about this immediately, and we need to activate our contingency plan." The 3 officers entered a small, shielded room adjacent to the main control center. This room was completely isolated from all networks, designed specifically for moments when absolute secrecy was required. Jun placed his palm on a scanner. A hidden panel slid open, revealing a communication device unlike standard military equipment. It connected directly to the most secret facility on Earth, buried deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. "This is Admiral Jun. Authorization code Blue 7 Echo 9 Zulu. Connect me to General Lee immediately." After a brief pause, a stern face appeared on the small screen. General Lee had been leading Earth's secret defense initiative for 15 years. Her expression revealed nothing as she listened to Jun's report. Their timing is unfortunate, General Lee said when June finished. We needed another 6 months to complete all systems. Will it work? Kim asked the question everyone was thinking. General Lee's eyes hardened with determination. It will have to. Begin diplomatic stalling measures. Request technical clarifications about their offer. Ask for historical data on other protected planets. Anything to buy us time. And meanwhile, June asked. Meanwhile, I'm activating Project Leviathan effective immediately. All leave canceled. All test schedules accelerated. Full operational readiness in 72 hours. Kim felt his heartbeat quicken. Project Leviathan had been Earth's greatest secret for over a decade, a response to the possibility of exactly this scenario. Most of Earth's population had no idea it existed. Even Kim had only been briefed on its basic outline. What should we tell the public? Lieutenant Park asked. The truth, more or less, General Lee replied. Aliens have arrived. They've made contact. Negotiations are ongoing. No need for panic. After ending the communication, the 3 officers returned to the main control room. Outside the viewports, Earth continued its peaceful rotation, its population still unaware that everything had changed. In orbit, the Imperial vessel waited silently. Its sensors probed Earth's defenses, finding them surprisingly substantial for a developing world, but nothing that could threaten Imperial technology. Inside the vessel, Ambassador Tay reported to his superiors that the humans were reacting exactly as predicted, with caution but also clear interest in Imperial technology. What the Imperial sensors couldn't detect was the massive underwater facility coming to life beneath the Pacific. General Lee stood in its central command chamber, watching as systems that had never been fully activated began powering up. Engineers and technicians worked frantically at their stations. In a massive underground bay, water drained away from the largest vessel ever constructed by human hands. Project Leviathan, Earth's ultimate deterrent, was waking up. Begin final systems check, General Lee ordered. I want full combat readiness in 48 hours. As she watched the activity around her, General Lee permitted herself a small smile. The Galactic Empire thought they were dealing with a helpless, primitive world ripe for colonization. They were about to learn how wrong they were. 3 weeks of careful negotiations had passed since the Galactic Empire's first contact with Earth. During this time, Earth's diplomats had requested numerous clarifications, historical data, and technical specifications regarding the Empire's protection offer. The Imperial representatives grew increasingly impatient with what they saw as human stalling tactics. To move things forward, Earth's United Council suggested a cultural exchange, specifically, a demonstration of Earth's military capabilities. The Empire agreed, clearly expecting to see primitive technology that would reinforce their superior position in negotiations. Now, on a bright morning in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a small group of Imperial military observers stood on the deck of an Earth naval vessel. The ship, while advanced by human standards, was deliberately chosen to appear unimpressive to alien eyes. Commander Du, the Empire's senior military attaché, gazed around with poorly disguised contempt. His tall, slender form towered over the humans, and his 4-fingered hands were clasped behind his back in a posture of polite boredom. Admiral Song approached him, her uniform crisp despite the ocean breeze. At 62 years old, she carried herself with the confidence of someone who had dedicated her life to military service. She had also been one of the original architects of Project Leviathan. I hope your stay on Earth has been comfortable, Commander, she said pleasantly. Commander Du inclined his head slightly. Your hospitality has been adequate. However, I must confess my confusion regarding this demonstration. My superiors are eager to conclude our protection agreement. Several other Imperial officers stood nearby, their expressions ranging from boredom to mild curiosity. They were dressed in sleek uniforms made from materials that seemed to shift color with each movement. Of course, Admiral Song replied. We simply felt it important for you to understand Earth's current defense capabilities before finalizing any agreement. Commander Du made a sound that his translator converted to a polite chuckle. I understand your desire to showcase your naval capabilities. Though I assure you, water-based vessels became obsolete in the Empire millennia ago. Admiral Song simply smiled. Around her, the human crew continued their duties, pretending not to listen to the conversation. Perhaps you'll find our demonstration educational nonetheless. She reached into her pocket and removed a small device no larger than a coin. Commander Du watched with mild interest as she pressed a button on its surface. At first, nothing happened. The Imperial observers glanced at each other, some with small smiles of amusement. Then the ocean began to change. It started as a subtle disturbance in the water about half a kilometer from their vessel. Small waves formed in circular patterns, growing larger by the second. The water began to churn and foam, as if something massive was rising from below. "What is happening?" asked one of the Imperial officers, their translator giving the words a hint of alarm. Admiral Song didn't answer. She stood calmly, hands behind her back, watching the water with satisfaction. The churning intensified. The small vessel began to rock as displacement waves reached it. Then, with surprising grace for something so enormous, the first section of the UES Prometheus broke the surface. A massive tower of metal emerged from the depths, water cascading down its sides. It kept rising, revealing more and more of itself, a colossal structure that seemed impossible to hide underwater. The hull was covered with a material that gleamed silver blue in the sunlight, unlike any metal the Imperial observers had seen. Commander Du stepped forward, his previous boredom completely gone. "What is this?" he demanded. Still, the vessel continued to rise. 2 kilometers of advanced technology emerged from the ocean depth, revealing weapon systems, launch bays, and technology that the Empire had believed was centuries beyond human capability. Commander Du's translator emitted a series of garbled sounds as he exclaimed something in his native language that the device couldn't properly convert. "That," Admiral Song said calmly, "is a human supercarrier." The Imperial observers stood frozen in shock. What they were seeing contradicted everything their intelligence had suggested about Earth's technological level. "Impossible," Commander Du finally managed. "Our scans detected nothing of this size beneath the ocean." Admiral Song nodded. "The hull is composed of a material we developed called quantum reflective alloy. It absorbs and redirects scanning technology. Quite effective, as you can see." The Prometheus now floated fully revealed, water still streaming from its massive form. At nearly 2 kilometers in length, it dwarfed the small vessel they stood on. Hatches began opening along its hull, revealing launch bays and weapon systems that hummed with energy. "This vessel houses our most advanced defensive and offensive systems," Admiral Song continued. "Gravitational propulsion, energy shields capable of withstanding direct asteroid impacts, and targeting systems accurate to within 1 millimeter at a distance of 10,000 kilometers. Commander Du's fingers twitched nervously at his side. "These technologies, they should be beyond your civilization's current development stage." Admiral Song smiled. "Perhaps your intelligence on Earth was incomplete, Commander." A series of lights activated along the Prometheus's hull, and a deep, resonant hum filled the air. The smaller vessel's instruments flickered momentarily as the supercarrier systems came fully online. "We have 5 more vessels of similar class stationed around our planet," Admiral Song added conversationally, "each with different specialized capabilities." The Imperial observers were communicating rapidly among themselves now, their translators turned off as they spoke in their native language. Commander Du's posture had changed completely. Gone was the confident, slightly condescending diplomat. Now he stood rigidly, his 4 eyes fixed on the massive vessel. "I believe," Admiral Song said, "that this information might be relevant to our ongoing negotiations regarding Earth's status in the Galactic Empire." Commander Du nodded slowly. "Indeed, Admiral. Most relevant." Above them, aircraft began launching from the Prometheus, sleek, impossible shapes that moved with unnatural agility. They performed a precise aerial display that demonstrated speeds and maneuverability that made the Imperial observers exchange troubled glances. Earth had just changed the terms of negotiation. The Empire's protection no longer seemed so necessary after all. The Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion floated in space near the edge of Earth's solar system. Inside its central command chamber, the mood was tense. High Commander Han paced back and forth, his long ceremonial cape swishing with each sharp turn. His face showed a mixture of disbelief and anger as he reviewed the data for the third time. "Impossible," he declared, slamming his hand on the holographic display. "Their shield technology shouldn't exist given their development timeline. Our intelligence indicated they had barely mastered basic space travel." The room fell silent. The 12 members of the Imperial Science Council sat around a large oval table, each looking more uncomfortable than the last. On the main screen, footage of Earth's supercarrier Prometheus played on a loop. The massive vessel was performing maneuvers that defied the Empire's understanding of physics. Could the footage be fake? A deception? Asked military advisor Q, his voice hopeful. Commander Du, who had witnessed the demonstration firsthand, shook his head. "I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. My team conducted scans directly. The vessel is real, and its capabilities might be even greater than what they showed us." High Commander Han stopped pacing and stared at the screen. The Prometheus was now demonstrating its defensive capabilities. In the recording, Earth's military had fired their most powerful missiles at their own supercarrier. Instead of exploding on impact, the missiles simply disappeared into shimmering air as they struck an invisible barrier. "Our initial assessment of Earth was clearly flawed," said Science Director Jin. She was the oldest member of the Council, respected for her analytical mind. "We assumed their technological development would follow the same path as other species we've encountered." The Council members turned toward her as she stood and approached the main display. She manipulated the controls, bringing up Earth's historical database that Imperial intelligence had compiled. "Their history explains much," Jin continued. "Earth is unique among worlds we've encountered. Their centuries of warfare against themselves drove military innovation at an unprecedented rate." The display showed images of human conflicts throughout history, from ancient battles with primitive weapons to their devastating world wars. "Most species we encounter developed space travel before resolving internal conflicts," Jin explained. "Humans did the opposite. They spent thousands of years fighting each other, refining the art of warfare before looking to the stars." Engineer Hyun, the youngest council member and a specialist in advanced defensive systems, pointed to a particular section of the Prometheus. "The carrier's quantum shielding alone represents technology we only theorized. Our research division has been working on similar concepts for decades without success." He brought up his own analysis of the supercarrier systems. "And their AI integration makes our systems look primitive. They've developed neural adaptive interfaces that allow near-instantaneous response times." The room fell silent again as the implications became clear. The Empire had encountered hundreds of alien civilizations, but always as the technologically superior power. This was different. Earth was not what they had expected. Medical Director Sun spoke up. Could they have received outside help? Perhaps another spacefaring civilization provided this technology. "Unlikely," replied Intelligence Officer Min. "We've monitored this sector for centuries. No other advanced civilization has approached Earth until our arrival." High Commander Han's expression darkened as he returned to his seat at the head of the table. "We've made a grave miscalculation. Earth isn't a potential protectorate. It's a pure power." The words hung heavy in the air. The Empire's standard approach with new civilizations was to offer protection in exchange for resources and obedience. That strategy would not work with Earth. "What do we know about their other capabilities?" Han asked. Admiral Song mentioned 5 more vessels of similar class. Commander Du nodded, each apparently with different specializations. "We've detected energy signatures consistent with her claim, though the vessels remain hidden using their quantum reflective technology." Resource Director Park, who had remained silent until now, pulled up Earth's geographical and population data. They're resource-rich, but space-limited. 7 billion humans on a single planet. Their need to expand is inevitable, which makes them dangerous, added military advisor Q. A technologically advanced species with resource pressures will look to expand aggressively. High Commander Han considered this, or they could become valuable allies. The suggestion surprised the Council. The Empire rarely treated new civilizations as equals. Their innovation could benefit the Empire, Han continued, and their military capabilities would strengthen our position against the Concordat. The Concordat was the Empire's main rival, a coalition of species that controlled nearly a third of the galaxy. Relations had been tense for centuries. We should update the Emperor immediately, Science Director Jin suggested. This changes our strategic position significantly. High Commander Han nodded in agreement. Prepare a full report. Include all data on the Prometheus and speculative analysis on their other vessels. I will speak with the Emperor personally. As the Council members began their work, Han remained seated, staring at the image of Earth's supercarrier. After centuries of imperial expansion, they had grown complacent, assuming technological superiority over any new civilization they encountered. Earth had proven that assumption wrong. Humans had developed in isolation, taking the unique evolutionary path that had produced military technology that rivaled or even exceeded the Empire's capabilities. We have two options, Han said quietly to Commander Du after the others had left. Make them allies or eliminate them before they become a greater threat. Commander Du looked troubled. After what I witnessed, I'm not certain elimination is possible. At least, not without catastrophic losses on our side. Han nodded slowly. Then we must ensure they see more benefit in alliance than in conflict. The Eternal Dominion's communication system chimed, indicating an incoming transmission from Earth. The humans were ready to resume negotiations. This time, the Empire would approach them not as potential subjects, but as equals. The age of imperial expansion had reached a turning point. The discovery of Earth had changed everything. 6 months after first contact, relations between Earth and the Galactic Empire had improved significantly. The revelation of Earth's advanced military capabilities had forced the Empire to reconsider its approach. Instead of offering protection, they now proposed a military alliance and technology exchange program. As a gesture of goodwill, both sides agreed to joint military exercises in Earth's solar system. The UES Prometheus would work alongside 3 Imperial cruisers to simulate defensive operations against a hypothetical enemy. Captain Sun stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching as the Imperial vessels moved into formation. At 42, she was one of Earth's most experienced naval officers, having commanded submarines before being selected to lead Earth's first supercarrier. Imperial vessels report ready for exercise Phase 3, announced Officer Kang from his station. The young officer monitored communications with the alien ships. Acknowledge and confirm our readiness, Captain Sun replied. She studied the Imperial vessels on the main display. They were impressive, sleek, predatory shapes that moved with incredible precision. Still, she felt proud knowing the Prometheus was a match for them. The joint exercise had been proceeding smoothly for 3 days. The Imperial officers had been professional, if somewhat reserved. Captain Sun suspected they were still adjusting to the idea of humans as equals rather than subjects. Beginning simulation in 30 seconds, Officer Kang announced. All systems nominal. Captain Sun nodded, satisfied. This exercise would simulate a coordinated defense against multiple attackers using non-lethal energy weapons and sensor jamming. It would be the most complex test of their joint capabilities yet. Then everything changed. Alarms blared throughout the Prometheus. Red emergency lights flashed on every deck. The bridge crew moved instantly from routine exercise procedures to emergency protocols. Captain Sun raced to the central command console as damage reports began flooding in. Report, she commanded. Officer Kang's fingers flew across his console, his face pale with concentration. "Sabotage, Captain," he replied, his voice tight but controlled. "We're detecting quantum destabilizers throughout our lower decks. They're attempting to collapse our shield matrix." "How?" demanded Sun. "How did they get aboard?" "Unknown, but they appear to have been planted during our last docking with the Imperial command vessel," replied Security Chief Moon, who had just arrived on the bridge. The devices activated simultaneously, suggesting a coordinated attack. Captain Sun's eyes narrowed as she assessed the situation. The quantum destabilizers were advanced Imperial technology, devices designed to create cascading failures in shield systems. If successful, they would leave the Prometheus defenseless. "Seal off affected sections," she ordered. "Activate countermeasures. Deploy the Aegis system." The bridge crew exchanged quick glances. The Aegis system was the Prometheus's most closely guarded secret, a defensive capability that had never been revealed to the Empire. "Captain, deploying Aegis will reveal capabilities we've kept classified," warned First Officer Lee. "If we don't, we'll lose the ship," Sun replied firmly. "Deploy Aegis now." Officer Kang entered the command codes, then pressed his palm against a biometric scanner. Aegis system activating. What happened next would forever change Imperial understanding of human capabilities. Deep within the Prometheus, a system unlike any in the Imperial arsenal came to life. The Aegis wasn't merely a defensive shield. It was an adaptive, semi-sentient countermeasure system. It identified the quantum destabilizers, and instead of trying to counteract them directly, it absorbed their energy and redirected it through the ship's own systems. Throughout the vessel, sections that had appeared decorative began to glow with blue-white energy. The destabilizers' effects were not only neutralized but reversed, strengthening the Prometheus's shields rather than weakening them. On the bridge, Captain Sun opened a channel to the Imperial vessels. "This is Captain Sun of the UES Prometheus. We have detected and neutralized sabotage devices planted aboard our vessel. Explain yourselves immediately." The Imperial commanders responded with genuine shock and confusion. "Captain Sun, we have no knowledge of any sabotage attempt. We are investigating now." Security Chief Moon approached Captain Sun. "Captain, analysis suggests the devices are of Imperial manufacture, but not standard military issue. They match specifications of weapons used by the Crimson Talon faction." Captain Sun's expression hardened. The Crimson Talon was a militaristic faction within the Empire known to oppose cooperation with lesser species. Earth's intelligence had identified them as potential threats during the diplomatic process. "All hands to battle stations," Captain Sun ordered. "Full defensive posture." Across Earth, military command centers went to high alert. What had begun as a simple joint exercise was now potentially the first conflict between Earth and the Galactic Empire. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, the UES Olympus, Earth's second supercarrier, powered up its systems. In the Mariana Trench, the UES Titan began its ascent. From a hidden base in the Antarctic ice shelf, the UES Helios activated its launch systems. Near the Galapagos Islands, the UES Athena's stealth systems disengage. And in orbit around Mars, the UES Ares moved into attack position. Within hours, Earth's hidden fleet had emerged, each vessel revealing capabilities specifically designed to counter different Imperial technologies. The Olympus specialized in offensive energy weapons. The Titan carried massive kinetic artillery. The Helios featured advanced electronic warfare systems. The Athena was designed for stealth operations, and the Ares carried Earth's most destructive weapons. The Imperial vessels found themselves surrounded by a fleet they hadn't known existed, each human supercarrier more formidable than the last. In the Imperial palace on the distant homeworld, the Emperor received urgent reports of the crisis. After reviewing the evidence, he made an unprecedented decision. For the first time in Imperial history, the Emperor himself would communicate directly with a non-Imperial world. On the Prometheus's bridge, the main screen activated to show the Emperor. a tall, regal figure with the same basic features as other Imperials, but with distinctive gold markings that indicated royal lineage. "Captain Son of Earth," the Emperor began, his translator giving his words a formal tone. "I extend my personal apologies for this incident. The sabotage was carried out by a rogue faction within our empire, one that opposes our new relationship with Earth." The Emperor's four eyes blinked slowly, a sign of sincerity in Imperial culture. "This incident was unsanctioned and represents an act of treason against my direct orders. I seek peaceful resolution to this crisis." Captain Sun glanced at her officers, then back at the screen. "We appreciate your direct communication, Emperor. Earth's Council will need assurances that such incidents won't be repeated. The perpetrators will be identified and punished according to our highest laws," the Emperor promised. "And as a gesture of good faith, I offer open exchange of defensive technologies between our peoples." The crisis had brought Earth and the Empire to the brink of war, but it had also created an opportunity for deeper alliance. The Crimson Talon's attempt to provoke conflict had revealed not only Earth's hidden capabilities, but also the Emperor's genuine desire for peace. The Grand Assembly Hall on the Imperial homeworld shimmered with light. Thousands of crystal fixtures hung from the high ceiling, casting rainbow patterns across the polished stone floor. The hall had stood for 10,000 years, witnessing countless historic moments in galactic history. Today would mark perhaps its most significant event yet. Admiral Min walked slowly down the central aisle, conscious of the many alien eyes watching her. She wore Earth's new formal diplomatic uniform, designed specifically for this ceremony. Behind her followed 20 human representatives, scientists, military officers, cultural experts, and political leaders chosen to represent Earth's diverse population. "It still doesn't feel real," whispered Captain Yoon, walking beside her. The young captain had distinguished herself during the crisis with the Crimson Talon faction, earning her appointment as commander of the new Joint Defense Fleet's flagship. "1 year ago, we didn't even know aliens existed," Admiral Min replied quietly. "Now we're rewriting the political structure of the galaxy." Around them sat delegates from 100 alien civilizations. Some resembled Earth life forms, humanoid shapes with recognizable features. Others were utterly alien, crystalline structures that floated above their seats, gaseous beings contained in special environmental suits, and entities composed of what appeared to be living liquid metal. At the far end of the hall, the Emperor waited on an elevated platform. Unlike previous imperial ceremonies, he stood rather than sat, symbolizing the new relationship of equality that would define the galactic future. High Commander Han approached the human delegation, offering a formal bow. "The final preparations are complete. The Emperor will begin the ceremony shortly." Admiral Min nodded. "Earth is ready." The journey to this moment had been complex. After the Crimson Talon incident, both Earth and the Empire had recognized that their relationship needed to be fundamentally reconsidered. The Empire's traditional structure, with a dominant central power and subordinate worlds, was proving increasingly unstable. Earth had proposed something radical, transforming the Empire into a Commonwealth of equal members, with shared defense responsibilities and technological exchange programs. To everyone's surprise, the Emperor had embraced the idea. A musical tone echoed through the hall, signaling the start of the ceremony. The vast room fell silent as the Emperor stepped forward. "For 20,000 years, the Emperor began, his voice amplified throughout the hall. We have called ourselves the Galactic Empire. Today, that name becomes history." He gestured toward the human delegation. "Our encounter with Earth has revealed both strengths and weaknesses in our traditional approach. While we brought peace to many worlds, we also stifled innovation and independence." The Emperor activated a holographic display that hovered above the assembly. It showed the new treaty, a document that had taken 9 months of intense negotiation to create. This treaty establishes the Galactic Commonwealth, a union of sovereign worlds working together for mutual benefit and protection. The Emperor continued. Each member retains its independence while contributing to our collective security and progress. Admiral Min stepped forward, joining the Emperor on the platform as Earth's designated signatory. She remembered the fear and uncertainty of first contact, when humanity had faced what seemed like a superior alien power. Now Earth stood as an equal architect of a new galactic order. Earth is recognized as a sovereign and equal member of the Galactic Commonwealth, the Emperor declared as Admiral Min pressed her palm to the treaty's biometric verification panel, with all rights, responsibilities, and protections therein described. Throughout the hall, delegates from 100 worlds followed suit, each approaching to verify their world's commitment to the new Commonwealth. Some had been part of the Empire for thousands of years. Others, like Earth, were new additions. When the formal signing concluded, the Emperor gestured to a large covered object at the center of the hall. As symbol of our new unity, I present the flagship of the Commonwealth Defense Fleet. The covering disappeared, revealing a holographic model of the most advanced vessel ever created. It combined the sleek elegance of Imperial design with the robust functionality of Earth's supercarriers. Nearly 3 kilometers long, it dwarfed even the Prometheus. The CSS Harmony, the Emperor announced, will be the first of a new fleet, crewed by members from all Commonwealth worlds and incorporating technologies from many civilizations. Captain Hume stepped forward, her back straight and her expression solemn. As the newly appointed commander of the Harmony, she would lead the most diverse crew in galactic history. Our worlds have much to learn from each other, Yoon said, her voice clear and confident. Earth brings not just military innovation, but a unique perspective forged through our complex history. She gestured to the holographic ship. The Harmony represents our shared future, a vessel where different species will work together, combining their strengths and overcoming their individual limitations. After the ceremony, a celebration began in the vast gardens surrounding the assembly hall. Representatives from 100 worlds mingled, sharing food, drink, and cultural exchanges. Many were eager to meet the humans, whose arrival had catalyzed such dramatic change. Admiral Min found a quiet spot away from the crowds, gazing up at the unfamiliar constellations of the Imperial homeworld. Science Director Jin approached, offering a drink in what appeared to be a gesture of friendship. "Your world has changed the galaxy in just 1 year," Jin observed. Many thought it impossible. Admiral Min smiled. "Humans have always been adaptable. It's how we survived on Earth." "The Crimson Talon faction believed humans were a threat," Jin said. "They weren't entirely wrong. You challenged our most basic assumptions about how civilization should function. Sometimes outsiders see possibilities that those within a system cannot," Min replied. Jin nodded thoughtfully. "The Commonwealth will face challenges. Not all worlds embrace change so readily. That's why the defense fleet is essential," Min said. "Peace requires strength." Across the garden, Captain Hume was engaged in animated conversation with officers from a dozen different species, her future crew members. They were already discussing modifications to the Harmony systems, combining ideas from different technological traditions. As the ceremony concluded, Admiral Min gazed at the assembled alien representatives with quiet pride. Earth had secured its place among the stars not through conquest, but through preparation, innovation, and ultimately, mutual respect. The galaxy was entering a new era. The old empire was gone, replaced by something with the potential to be greater than any single civilization could achieve alone. Earth's journey to the stars had only just begun, but already humanity had left an indelible mark on galactic history. The end.